On your screen here is the Bitcoin price over the past 14 days in US dollars. And as they say in the classics, shit, man, shit. Look at that. It has dropped from $6,500 down to $5,500. And over the past 24 hours, it has just tumbled and tumbled and tumbled. Goodness gracious me. Oh no, look at goodness gracious. Not looking good at all. Now, let me preface the rest of this video by saying that this is not financial advice. I'm not here to give you financial advice. If you take financial advice from YouTubers, you are a moron, etc., etc., etc. Let's get all of that out of the way. Now, let's talk about something very important. There is a man who predicted this crash while the market was peaking, while it was on the way up last year in November of 2017 when the price was skyrocketing. And that man is now making a dire, explosive prediction about the Bitcoin price here today in this video. Let's take a look at what was happening in November of last year. Let's go back. Let's cast our mind back to November 30, 2017. And the price was about $10,000 US. But more importantly than that, it was skyrocketing up. Do you remember that? Remember those crazy times when Discord servers, multiple Discord servers run by many different people, were full of people all around the world, mostly young men, but there were other people as well. But the key demographic was young men, and boy were they excited. They were pulling all-nighters. They were patting each other on the back for all of their so-called investments into altcoins. Look, it was a crazy time. I remember it well. Because I was one of those young men, or relatively young men. I was, 30 last year, so relatively young. And no wife and no kids, so I can stay up all night watching the Bitcoin price. And on many evenings I did. And many of you watching this video, you'll admit that you did the same thing, especially at that time. That was just a crazy time. None of us could believe what was happening. None of us could believe what we were witnessing happen. And those of us who had any kind of holdings of Bitcoins were starting to dream big dreams. Big, big, big dreams. And yet, despite all of that, I released a video at that time in November of last year saying that Bitcoin had a tether problem. And I asked the question, is a crash inevitable? Let's play a few seconds from this video published November 29, 2017. Again, let me stress that all of these people telling you that they make accurate predictions, blah, 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 they can say whatever they want. I've got the video that's there, timestamped by YouTube, November 29, 2017, 100,000 views. It's there, and you can check that against the Bitcoin price. This prediction wasn't made when the Bitcoin price had started coming down. No, no, no. This was made at the height of the mania, of the craziness that was going on. Let's play a few seconds from that clip. And what I'm talking about today is a car accident that we get to watch happening in real time, all recorded on the blockchain. So let's take a look at our three little friends. And then what I go on to do is to explain what Tether is and why it's so important to know what Tether is and how Tether was being used apparently to manipulate the market. That was the inference that I was drawing at the time. And what we've been watching subsequently, particularly over the last few weeks, seems to be suggesting that that inference was correct. Now, I was not the only person pointing this out. I was one of the main people pointing this out, one of the very few pointing this out, but I was definitely not the only one. I wasn't even the first one. There was somebody who was pointing out this tether problem back at the same time, a guy called Crypto Investor. And the truth of the matter is, I haven't even been following Bitcoin for the past few months. I've had other things to focus on, just the way things are. And I kind of forgot about the Bitcoin and the tether problem. Haven't really been paying attention. But then this video came up in my subscription feed today. And I won't play any of it right now, but it's from Crypto Investor. I'll put a link in the info box below. This fellow released a video about the tether problem at about the same time that I did. And he was one of the few people talking about the tether problem. However, he came at things from the perspective of crypto is good, it's a good investment, people are going to make a lot of money. He said things like, oh, I've got this price point of selling or of buying, and he was part of all of the hype. I'll just say that right now. He was one of the hypesters. If he wanted to, he could take clips from some of his videos and claim that he was not hyping up Bitcoin. That's fine, but the truth of the matter is, Crypto Investor, just like a lot of these YouTubers who sprung up at the time, even when they did mention the Tether problem, it was generally a case of, oh, it's a problem, but here are all the good things that are going to happen, etc., etc. And if Crypto Investor ever sees this video and he wants to rebut what I'm saying, he's welcome to do so. I'll even mirror his video on my channel. This is not meant to be a hit piece on him, and it's not meant to be taken that way. And again, if I'm wrong about what I remember him saying at the time, that's fine. I could be wrong, but my memory is he was one of the hypesters. Well, he's come out of nowhere, and after months and months away, he's given his final thoughts and advice on Bitcoin. And he's basically said that he's done. He's finished with Bitcoin. So this is what they call in the Bitcoin sphere a capitulation video. It's someone who is saying, well, guys, I'm out. And why would he be doing that? Well, it might have something to do with the fact that it has been an absolute bloodbath on the price markets lately. Like I said, over the past week or so, it has dropped significantly. Over the past couple of weeks, it has dropped substantially from 6,500 down to 4,500 with no end in sight. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, well, JLB, what's your point here, man? The title of this video says that man who accurately predicted crash is now making explosive new prediction. What's your prediction, man? Get to the prediction. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But before I do that, let me point out that there is a page on my website available completely for free, which features all of my material about Bitcoin, the Tether problem. And again, look, this is from, look at this, the end of last year was when I was tracking this Tether problem. And Bitcoin crash imminent, which obviously has turned out to be correct. The Tether problem, the Bitcoin from Jekyll Island. Most people have no idea about the occult elements behind a Bitcoin. Most people don't even know what the word occult even means. Gustave Le Bon, crowd psychology, how important it is to know crowd psychology, how that affects not just the investment markets, but so much of what we see in modern society today. The mainstream media finally reporting on Tether, a long time after I had, and after Crypto Investor had as well. Again, I've got to give him credit for reporting on this when very few people did. Strange coincidences concerning Bitcoin, a mocking video pretending that I was wrong, and really it was just a flip the script video. I do that sometimes, a bit cheeky. And a whole bunch more. So you can see I'm not just some fly in the night, come along, talk about Bitcoin for no reason. I was very interested in Bitcoin at the end of last year. But I was fortunate enough that I liquidated all of my holdings before the crash. Now, I didn't sell at the top of the market. I've got to be honest about that. I sold about here, I think. So had I held on to the very top, I could have made an extra, I don't know, 20 or 30% or something. But very few people pick the top. Very few people pick the top. And anyone who tells you that they picked the top of the market, get them to show the evidence. Okay? If they're going to tell you that they've made these great predictions, get them to do what I've just done. Get them to show their video with the timestamp, or their blog piece or whatever with the timestamp. Something that can't be faked. I can't edit YouTube's timestamp. I can't do that. So that's the timestamp. That's when I made my prediction. That's the video. 100,000 views if you don't mind. And there's all my other material that, again, this page is available for free. So I'll put a link to that in the info box below. Now, why is it so important that you understand crowd psychology, the occult elements of cryptocurrency, and the Tether problem? Why must you understand those three things if you want to make wise investments with regards to Bitcoin? Here's why. Because if you don't understand those things for yourself, then you will forever be waiting for other people to give you advice. And just like any other realm in life, when you are dependent on other people to give you advice, and those people are themselves invested in the same market, that is, their advice is not impartial, then you are setting yourself up for complete and utter disaster. And that is why I was able to correctly predict the crash that has since taken place. When the market was peaking, this is why I was able to do it. It's not because I'm some genius. It's not because I'm some great investor. It's not because of any of this nonsense. No, it's because I think for myself. And when I found out about this Tether issue, I looked into it for myself. And I found a whole bunch of red flags. So I went and did more research in my own time. And through doing that, I discovered what I needed to know to make a correct decision, or a sound decision, a decision that has since been proven to be a sensible decision. Now, with all of that said, you're still wondering, well, JLB, what's your crazy prediction, man? What's your crazy prediction? Give us your prediction, man. We don't want to think for ourselves. We don't want to go and check out your free material about the Tether problem, about crowd psychology, about the occult elements of Bitcoin. We just want you to tell us what to do. Well, I got some bad news for you. I'm not in the business of telling people what to do, but what I can do is put a link in the info box below to an interview that I did at the start of the year, about 11 months ago now, with the Occulture podcast run by a lovely fellow named Ryan Peevely, who since then, he has built his platform even further and he's doing really well. So that's terrific to see. When he interviewed me, he was still very early in his project, but you could just tell from the first time I spoke to him, this guy is going to go on to be successful with what he's doing. And last I heard, that's exactly what's happening. But you can go and check out that interview. The whole thing's available for free. And in it, I don't just talk about Bitcoin. I talk about the occult elements of cryptocurrency. Because here's the most important thing that all of you have to understand. Cryptocurrency is not going away. Yes, the price is tanking right now. That's true. Just look at it. Okay, complete disaster. Complete disaster. But cryptocurrency is not going away. And in my personal opinion, I don't think we're going to just see it tank and disappear. No way. In fact, if I had to make a prediction, my prediction about the future for Bitcoin, well, I don't want to say in this video, and I probably shouldn't say in this video, but let's just say it's not a pessimistic one. It's not a negative one. It's not a cynical one. I happen to think that Bitcoin will see good days again. And why do I think that? Because I've got my finger on the pulse of what this cryptocurrency really is. And it's much bigger than just an alternate payment system. It's much bigger than just a store of information. It's much bigger than any of these things. It's bigger than most people could possibly ever understand. And until you start studying the occult, you will never understand. So we're going to leave it there on the 20th of November, 2018. Like I said, go and check out the page in the info box below. This is at johnlebon.com. Yes, my website is a subscription website, but there's a ton of information there available for free, okay? And the Bitcoin page is one of those pages, so I'll put a link to that in the info box below. You can go and check out my video from last year. This is a terrific introduction to the Bitcoin problem. Check out my podcast, my interview with Ryan Peevely of Occulture. Again, 2 hours free. We go into the occult elements of Bitcoin. And then I'll also put a link to the Crypto Investor, who once again, let me stress, this video is not meant to be a criticism of him. I'm just saying what I remember from the time. And again, credit where it's due. He was one of the few people who spoke about the Tether problem before the market started crashing. So for that, I do give him credit, even if he has recently come out and made a capitulation video. So I'll put all of those links in the info box below. Make sure you go and check them out. A lot of people today, they're very distracted by technology. They'll watch a video, even if they like the video, they'll straight away watch the autoplay. They won't even be able to remember what they watched 30 minutes ago. Okay, our brains are being fried by technology. Those of us who aren't careful, don't let that happen to you. Once you stop this video, check the links in the info box below. Go and follow the information. Do your own research. And until next time, you guys, take care of yourselves. Oh, and remember, if you don't do your own research, in a few months' time, you might find yourself sitting here going, shit, man, shit, man, shit.